to Sustainability. And I'll kick it off with talking about Michael Iceland. He is the Outreach Coordinator for the Food Project. Pull up Food Project here real quick. The Food Project is a really unique organization. They strive to engage young people in personal and social change through sustainable agriculture. In fact, they work with 150 teens each year and thousands of volunteers. Thousands? 3,000 volunteers. That's a really big organization. So keep this in mind if you're interested in getting involved. It'd be really easy to get involved. As little as a few hours on a Saturday can be your involvement. And these volunteers and these teens and these 30 staff members farm on 44 acres in eastern Massachusetts. How many different farms?
7 communities.
Okay, 7 different communities have these urban farms, and they promote local sustainable food systems. So what exactly is sustainable agriculture? I came up last night, that was about 10:15, but I looked up sustainable agriculture because I'm like, I really want to define this for our group. So sustainable agriculture is a system of agriculture that promotes the well-being of natural and human resources through emphasis on environmental, economic, and social factors. Pretty multifaceted, okay? Now, what does Michael do as the outreach coordinator? His role includes managing PR, print and web design, volunteer programs, and special events. A typical day for him might involve hosting a celebrity chef on site at a farm for a lunchtime program, and later on that afternoon he might be working on their next newsletter. So really bounces around in terms of his responsibilities. Keeps him very entertained, right? Always. Okay. And his prior work was as a project manager for 4 years with City Year. And for education, he has an MS in professional communication from Clark University. So that is Michael Iceland. Next we have Karin Weber. Karin wears many hats. It's really hard to even, you can see on her sign here, it was really hard for me to even squeeze it in. It says Foundation for a Green Future / that organization hosts the Green Fest, and she also is one of the co-founders for Earth Our Only Home. So lots of different roles here, being president of one company and executive director of another. As I said, the Foundation for a Green Future was developed in primary. The primary purpose of it was to host the Green Fest.
No,
Oh, it was not. Okay. You want to say
Is it that promote awareness in greening our urban spaces through green roofs, primarily, and now living walls, eco-friendly lawns, raised bed, organic gardening, farming.
Okay. Okay, so I had that mixed up with Earth Our Only Home.
Earth Our Only Home is a for-profit organization, an S corporation that began in 2006 to put green roofs on buildings.
Okay, so they're both tied to the green roofs. I was thinking the one was separate and was more just for the festival. So the festival is just one of the
It's an outreach program of Foundation for a Green Future.
Okay. And as I mentioned actually while you weren't here, that this festival takes place for 3 days at City Hall, and if you're interested in volunteering, are you still looking for volunteers?
We are looking for them starting now.
Starting now, okay. And interns as well?
Interns as well.
Great. Okay, so keep that in mind if you're interested in this sector. Now, I'm just going to say a little bit more about Karin, because when I was on the website, there were some other really interesting things. And if people want to ask questions about some of her other background, I'm sure you'll have that opportunity once we dive in. She's a former researcher for the World Bank, where Karin analyzed the cost benefits of fish farming off the Ivory Coast in Africa. She also worked on an environmentally sound coal plant, and another one of her projects involved work on an automotive corporation whose lightweight cooling designs allowed cars to be built using less resources and to achieve improved gas mileage. So she's worked, you have a tremendous background related to sustainability in so many different sectors, and you've been working in school on 5 different continents or something like that. I think I picked that up off of your site. So, and lastly, Karin happens to be a double Husky. She has her master's in social anthropology from Northeastern, as well as her PhD in the Law, Policy, and Society program here. Okay, next and last, we have Andrew Anselmo, and he is currently an engineering consultant at Clipboard Engineering. However, he has spent 10 years prior to this work at Evergreen Solar. He watched this organization move from 30 employees to 700 plus. Imagine that in a 10-year time span. It's a really incredible growth that took place there. His job titles while he was at Evergreen Solar ranged from being a member of the technical staff to being a process development scientist. The mission for Evergreen Solar, just so we can understand this company, is to deliver more electricity with less impact on the environment. What I found out from the website was that their panels have the smallest carbon footprint and the fastest energy payback of any silicone-based solar panel ever made. So, really effective product that he got a chance to work on for 10 years. Now, beyond solar energy, and Andrew also happens to know a lot about the renewable energy sector, so if you have questions about that, he could talk to you a little bit about wind, biofuels, transportation systems, and in particular, the financial end of things. When do you get the payback? Okay, we can be idealistic, right? We really want all these renewable energies and be sustainable, but what's the payback? That's when we really get things rolling, when we can see that payback much more quickly. That's when you pay more attention to something, when we can see how quickly it becomes financially sound to make a change or an impact. Lastly, Andrew has his PhD in mechanical engineering from Columbia University. And I shouldn't have said lastly because there's one other thing. I love to share little tidbits about people, and he gave me permission to do this. Andrew's also a street performer. He does origami, and in like literally 30 seconds, he created this bird for me right before the session. And I don't know, maybe we would have time at the very end if you wanted to do one. But, we all have multiple sides to ourselves. We're not just work. So I thought that this was really cool to show off. Very quickly he did this piece. All right. And I forgot to show the other websites. I'll kind of channel through them as they're talking so you can kind of get a sense of where they're from. The first thing I'm going to ask each of you is, I've said a little bit about your background. Is there anything I left out that you think this audience would be crucial for us to add in? So does anybody want to say, background-wise, something else you wish I would have said? Because I know I chopped some of these up in little pieces. Anybody? Yeah.
I spent a year and a half on the, I've got to get this right because it's a long title, on the U.S. dollar exotic interest rate derivatives trading desk on Wall Street just after my postdoc. And that actually ties into some of the work I do now, actually. So that was a crazy Wall Street job.
Kind of fun. This crazy Wall Street job that you circle back to and you got
in a strange way, yeah.
Okay, good. Thank you. Anybody else?
I would just throw out that one piece that Sabrina touched on in her definition of sustainability that I think gets overshadowed a lot is the human sustainability portion of it. You could consider people who work in human resources at a company to be in sustainability if they're working on keeping people happy and engaged and lively within that organization. And so looking at my history, the way that I actually came into where I am, even though I have a lot of background that ties in with my work now, the reason I got there was about personal sustainability. It was about being happy and enjoying what I was doing and feeling like I was really accomplishing something. So, it took me out of a corporate marketing research position with Dun & Bradstreet to, working with young people and trying to do community sustainability, which actually brought me then to the food project.
Good. I'm glad you added that in.
I guess I can add in a piece too. I worked with Jacques Cousteau and Cousteau, the Fondation in Paris for about a year and a half, and I think the work that I did in fisheries and maritime ecology probably led to my understanding more about the connections between land and sea that we don't always acknowledge. We think if we're living here and doing something on land that it doesn't affect the water and the oceans and our watersheds, but in fact it does in very immediate ways. And so that's also something